Should I be training according to my cycle and my hormones? This seems to be a topic that has gathered a lot of attention in the last couple of years. It's something I've always been interested in, and that started as a trainer in a gym, training primarily women. I saw a lot of trends with my clients, and as they confided in me, as we built up trust and they confided in me where they were at in their cycle, I was able to see these trends translate into how their trainings went and how their exercise went and how their body responded to exercise, specifically heart rate and breath and muscle fatigue at certain times of the month. I found this so interesting. So I started to research it a bit. And sure enough, your body is doing different things metabolically at different times of the month, depending where you're at on your cycle. So that begs the question, should we be exercising according to our cycles? This is a little bit complex, and I'm going to answer it as best I can. There's a lot of research and data out there on women and exercise and cycles, but as more is being gathered, what we're seeing is that it's super, super personal. There is more variation between women and how their bodies respond to exercise at different points in their monthly cycle than there is within a woman's cycle responding to hormones. So that means it really is a personal thing. One woman might do fine her whole monthly cycle, and you may not see a ton of change in how her body responds. Another woman may be the complete opposite, and at certain times of the month, she's flat on her back, she can't do a thing, and other times she's lifting heavy and has a ton of energy and super peppy. So it just depends on the woman. That being said, what I do recommend is I recommend cycle tracking, and I recommend this for a lot of my clients. I say track your cycle, track your symptoms, and if you have an irregular cycle, you may start to see trends in how your body feels and responds to your exercise at different times of the month. Then you can use that data, or trainers, you can use that data if your client shares it with you, on how to program their exercises at different times of the month. For example, you may find that you've got a lot more energy and you're able to lift really heavy in your follicular stage. And that's when you're working up to ovulation, to releasing an egg. That's after menstruation has stopped. A lot of women find this. They have more energy, they're able to lift heavier, they're able to go longer and push themselves harder. So if you're training for an event, maybe you try to schedule your harder runs or bikes or swims or lifts in that time of the month to get the most out of it. You also might find that your energy starts to decrease and your body temperature tends to fluctuate a lot more in the luteal phase. That's leading up to menstruation. I saw this specifically with my clients. Their heart rates would be heightened a lot easier. They'd be out of breath easier. They'd reach muscle fatigue quicker. And especially body temperature would be super unpredictable as they got closer to their period. It even got to the point where I had a couple clients who got really dizzy and felt like they were going to faint in their sessions, and then found out they started their period the very next day. Now, if this is you, if you find that you're very sensitive to those hormone changes and you start to notice this and you start to notice it affect your exercise routine, again, you can start to plan for that and program for yourself or program for a client you work with on this. You can start to plan those harder lifts and harder runs during the follicular phase and during the luteal phase, knowing that period is going to come pretty soon and she is going to feel probably worse and worse. You can start to have lighter activity. Now, if you're someone who really struggles with cramps during your period, light activity has been shown for many women to help with cramping. Not every woman. I've had clients who said when I try to exercise and I'm getting close to my period, the cramps become worse. But most women, as long as you keep it moderate to easy and you don't go too hard, the cramping it tends to alleviate a lot of the cramping. Exercise also tends to alleviate a lot of bloat and water retention. It also helps boost mood. So it helps you fight those huge mood swings you have, those cravings that you have. It helps stabilize your cravings a little more. So overall, I encourage my clients to exercise up to their period and even through it if they're able and they don't feel worse. I think it really helps overall. It's just what kind of exercise is best. Sometimes some yoga and light stretching and a lot of spine mobility can feel really good leading up to your period, especially if you find that you have a lot of back pain during that time. A lot of movements like cat-cow that get the pelvis rocking and get the low spine opened up help ease some of the achiness and tightness that comes for a lot of women during that time of the month. Again, remember, if you're into hot yoga, you may be more sensitive to those changes of temperature and not able to regulate your body temperature as well when your period is on the horizon. So just be aware of that. So, should you train differently according to your cycle? Why don't you start tracking your cycles and find out what works for you? Just do a little trial and error, and I'm sure you'll find something that helps.